Hey, Ben Chenault here with Mortgage Bank. We are a branch of Fairway Independent Mortgage, and I appreciate you joining us here live today. So what are we going to talk about? Well, hot topic, first-time homebuyer programs. So, as we look through this, that's a big old book, isn't it? Well, it's really not true. It's really more like that. I mean, that's just a handful of pages. It's really not that bad. So there's really not a ton. There's just a lot of misconceptions out there. And, whenever we go talk in front of a group and whenever we have some of our younger clients calling especially, everybody's asking, tell me about first-time homebuyer programs. And the first question I got to ask them is, what is it you're looking for in a first-time homebuyer program? They're all different. Some have, different pros and cons. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to suit your needs, but it seems like somebody will read about a certain program online, but they can't find anybody to do it. They may have a person that sits next to them at work. They went and did a certain program, but for some reason I don't qualify. And then of course everybody's got that uncle, right, that seems to know a little bit of everything about everything. And they're telling you about a 0% down program that you don't have to make payments on for 5 years. It doesn't exist. But anyway, people look for it anyway. So why is it so confusing? So I would say, I'd start off by saying, realize that not everything you read is available. And some of the stuff you read, it may be available last year, but not this year. And part of the reason why it may not be available to you is because it's in different markets. And maybe if your buddy's in Arizona and they're looking at some a zero down program that's fantastic, that's only in Arizona. So unless you're moving to Arizona, it's not going to apply to you. I think there's so much information out there. It can be daunting. It can be confusing. And you need to realize that when you start looking at loan programs and qualifying for a loan, that everybody's financial profile is different, and it's kind of like a thumbprint, okay? Everybody's is different. Everybody has different credit scores. Everybody has different incomes, and they have different debts. And some people buy nicer cars, and some people conserve their money. Everybody is completely different. And to top it off and make it even more confusing, some of these loan programs aren't even available in some counties. Okay, so that can be quite frustrating when you're trying to buy your first house. Know this, it should be a fun time. It shouldn't be confusing. You should be able to go in and have um, a great idea of what you're going to be paying, how much you're going to need at closing, and what it's going to look like after you move in. Okay, it doesn't have to be super confusing, but to kind of put things out there and what we're looking at and some of the things that are out there available for you. I was going to name a couple of them. All right, just so you know what's available kind of in this area. And this isn't all of them, but it'll just give you an idea. The first thing I was going to mention is kind of the old steady Eddie. It's our plan B usually, but it's an FHA loan. And we still do a lot of FHA loans. These are great loans that are used for a lot of first-time home buyers just because they allow a 3.5% down payment, and they can let the seller pay the majority of your closing costs. So you're really limiting the amount you're going to need on closing day. Another good thing about it is, they allow for a little bit more leniency on credit scores. So for first-time home buyers that don't have a lot of credit, that might be a lot of help, okay? And they're not going to ding you really hard to the rate just because you don't have a ton of credit. And they're a bit more lenient on your debts as well. The way they do student loans can be helpful for a lot of people. So we still do a lot of FHA loans. There's no income restrictions on there. Well, what's income restrictions? Well, a couple programs I'll tell you about in a minute have income restrictions, which means you can't make over a certain amount. Now, I know that's bad. I know that's weird. When we go apply to a loan, we're supposed to say that we make a lot of money and show as much as we can. But now you're telling me I got to make less? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Some of these loan programs are really designed to help out and stimulate the economy in certain ecosystems, okay? So they don't want you to make over a certain dollar amount. The confusing part is Some of these dollar amounts they don't want you to go above includes your entire household. So that means your spouse. In some cases, it could mean your kids if they're, on Social Security, or if they're of age and they're making an income. It's basically anybody living in that house can preclude you from getting that loan, even though you qualify for it in all the other areas. Um, but I'm getting back off. I'm getting back on track. Another program, USDA. Love that loan program. Okay, relatively nothing down. The problem and the struggle with USDA is that you may qualify for it, but the house you want doesn't. So you got to be really careful. And some markets I've seen, we've got some subdivisions here locally where part of the subdivision qualifies for USDA and part of it doesn't. So tell me how confusing that can be for somebody. I would say, we can even, if we determine that USDA is the best loan for you, it's not that hard to get a copy of the map online. You can get online and plug in certain addresses and find out real easy, does it qualify or not. Your realtor is going to want to know that as well, and that way they can help you not fall in love with a house that doesn't qualify and only show you the houses that do. So, there's certain pros and cons for USDA, programs. Alabama Housing even has a great first-time home buyer program. They'll come in and provide a second mortgage so that you really only have to put down between 0.5% and 1%. It's a great loan program too because it's just like FHA. It'll allow the sellers to pay the majority of your closing costs and prepaids. And it's not really designed specifically to say young people, but it's first-time home buyers mainly. It's most of these programs aren't really just for the young people, but they have certain little nuances in them. For example, student loans, the way that they're viewed. Some people may have a lot of student loans, some people may not. The goal here is to find the one that is specific to what you need. This may be your first house, you plan on being there a year. That's one scenario. This could be a forever home, even though you've never owned. Maybe it's your family's property and you're just planning on building your forever home and never moving. That might have a completely different outcome on the loan program that we suggest to you. So make sure the lender is asking the right questions. Now, hopefully it's us, okay? Let's assume it's us. But even if it's not, make sure they're asking you the right questions. Asking how much you want to put down. What's available to put down. A lot of people don't realize that just because you've got $20,000 or $50,000, it doesn't mean that you should put it down. I think there's other things you might have needs for. Move-in expenses. You could go pay off a car loan and put less money down and be far better off every month on your monthly cash flow. Take all those things into account. And when you're working through this with us, let's talk about what all your goals are and what all's available. But keep in mind, it doesn't mean that just because you tell us what you've got that we're going to say you got to put it all down, because that's not normally the case. Okay. So the goal of this live video is to kind of give you an idea of why is there so much confusion. There's governmental oversight, there's rules, there's regulations. Look at us as like your lender. It's our job to kind of guide you through it. We're not making the rules up. We're not the judge and jury. We're more like a lawyer kind of guiding you through the red tape. And our job is really to help you figure out which one is going to help you the most. And it will be specific to you. And that's why there's so much confusion. So I would say when you're starting the process out, go ahead and get pre-qualified. Let's look at a couple of different options. Let's look at how long is left in your lease. Let's look at, if you closed on this day, then when's your first payment going to be due? A lot of people are concerned about overlapping. I don't want to be paying rent and mortgage payments at the same time. And there's ways we can look at all that. So once again, like I said earlier, this should be a fun process. You should be able to go into this whole home buying thing without a lot of confusion. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be quite simple. We can do the majority of this in 15 to 30 minutes just with information that you can give us over the phone or online. So let us know whenever you're ready for that, or just stay in touch. Use us to get education. Go to benchenault.com. there you can find about whatever you need. And let me know if you'd like to download our new app. We've got a very cool app that will let you search for homes. It'll give you mortgage glossary. It'll do real payments, under different scenarios. Stay away from some of the online ones. They forget to add mortgage insurance. They forget to add property taxes, and we got to pay taxes. But on that app, you can even apply online whenever you're ready. It takes like 5 to 8 minutes with info you'll know off the top of your head. But it's just a way to keep us with you at all times. Whenever you're ready, raise your hand. We'll be happy to help answer any of your questions or get you qualified or go over any of these loan programs for you that might better suit your needs. So, and let us know if you just want to stay in touch. So, benchenault.com, stay tuned to other live videos and other blogs that we've got. And, our job here is to kind of help educate you so that when you're ready, you'll be ready. So thanks a lot. Always call us too. 205-986-4220. Have a great day.